about to dive in.
Do you have anything crazy you want to say, like a clip that we can clip? Like, do you want to talk about UFC people?
Wait, when are you announcing your next the fight?
Like in roughly.
Oh my god.
Who's he
Oh
fighting?
my god.
It's the crazy. We can't say it. It's the craziest thing of all time. It's the craziest thing of all time.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh man. All right. Well,
Bigger than Tyson.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
It's the craziest thing of all time. Bigger than Jake Paul versus hire me Mike Tyson. Watch my fight with the Disney kid on Cox Cable. I'm gonna beat him. Wow. Now, the clip you heard at the beginning was from Logan Paul, his podcast, Impulsive. Jake Paul called in, and Jake Paul was asked by his brother, when are you going to break the news on the fight? So clearly they both know Jake Paul's next move. Jake Paul responded, and obviously the information is so sensitive that they bleeped out and censored his response because, you know, they don't want anyone to know the ETA of when they're going to announce. They want it to be a surprise, right? And the guy that they had as a guest, he said, who's he fighting? Out of curiosity. And they're like, we can't tell you. We can't say nothing. It's big though. It's a big fight. The big fight. And then Logan's co-host, Mike, said, it's bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. And then the guest kind of looked like, man, you know what I mean? Like, bigger than Mike Tyson? What is this? Now, remember at the beginning of this year when I said that you have to destroy in order to rebuild, and it was going to get very dark for a lot of content creators who are running around unknowledgeable, spreading lies, clickbait, and trying to bamboozle their fans or the audience, right? If you remember, type I remember. Based on the intel that I have, that time is coming sooner than later. And I warned you guys. So when it all plays out, and when you guys see it, don't act brand new. Just bow down and give the king of boxing talk, Boxing Ego, his proper. I've been telling you for a while, don't jump to conclusions. Don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything you hear in boxing. Period. End of story. So keep that in mind. Remember I said the lights were going to go out for certain content creators who have been spreading lies, because your boy Ego pretty tapped in. So I know the moves before the moves are made. Anyway, that being said, we'll wait and see. Jake Paul is clearly in a big fight. He's been teasing it. The podcast is teasing it and saying this is a big one and it's bigger than Mike Tyson, right? So one would have to ask, who's bigger that Jake Paul could even fight that would be bigger than Mike Tyson? Because there's only a handful of names that would make for a bigger fight. And Jake Paul is saying he has one of those, right? Mike Tyson, huge name, but he's 60 years old. So you have to factor that in. So I would venture to say it's somebody younger, somebody who's active, somebody who has red hair. I mean, yeah, just someone younger than Mike Tyson. Now, the rumors are that Jake Paul may have landed the Canelo fight. And it'll be in partnership with PBC, Premier Boxing Champion. So you see how this all ties in? Now, I'll wait for Canelo, Jake Paul, or whoever to announce what their next move is. But you see, the stars are aligned. Again, use your power of deduction. Who could Jake Paul fight that the radio or podcast host would be like, this is crazy. This is the craziest one yet. And it's bigger than Mike Tyson. I mean, Muhammad Ali, rest in peace. He's no longer with us. So it's not someone like that who clearly is a GOAT in the sport. Floyd Mayweather, I think, Jake Paul's at like 190. So that's very doubtful, in my opinion, that Floyd will fight. He already fought the brother, Logan Paul. Right? Tank Davis, huge star, already has a fight. David Benavidez, who's definitely on his way to being the face of boxing. That would be such a dangerous fight, but he already just fought. So it is looking like Canelo Alvarez, people. It is looking like Canelo. Canelo hasn't announced ish. We don't know what his next move is. And Canelo Alvarez, he's a businessman. He feels he has the right to pick. He already has the resume. So he would probably be looking for a fight to line his pockets, And what better way? I mean, in recent years, Canelo has kind of embraced the idea of fighting a Jake Paul or a crossover fight. Now, I will say this. I'm not mad at the fight. If this is what comes off, I'm not mad at it. But I want to wait and let everything be official. But I'm not mad at it, and I'll explain if it gets announced. One criticism I do have for old media, the usual suspects, and Canelo specifically, is when Floyd Mayweather was fighting Conor McGregor in 2017, a fight I went to, right? You had Canelo, who was hating on Floyd, and he was saying it's a terrible fight. Because he was about, mind you, Canelo was about to fight Triple G weeks after that fight. And then Floyd kind of upstaged him, announcing that he was fighting Conor McGregor, which stole a lot of the play, right? And you had Canelo and Golden Boy and Triple G all saying it was a circus fight and it was bad for boxing. Years later, Canelo is doing the same move. If he fights Jake Paul, this would be equivalent to Floyd fighting Conor McGregor. The only difference is Floyd did it after his career, basically. You know what I mean? He retired and he was older. Canelo's doing it when he's active and people want to see him fight David Benavidez, things like that, who just look good versus Morrell. So that is very hypocritical from Canelo and his fans and old media who were ishing on Floyd when he had a crossover fight with Conor McGregor that made a lot of money, right? So for Canelo to fight Jake Paul, that, based on what he said, he owes the world an apology, because obviously you're open to it as well years later. And later after that, after Floyd had already beat Conor McGregor in boxing, Canelo said he would fight Conor McGregor in a boxing match, and so did Oscar De La Hoya, two people who, when Floyd did it, you had a black American fighter who did it. They hated on it and said it was bad in the circus and it was ruining boxing. And a lot of the media and fans went along with that. Now we see that crossover fights and, Salt Poppies and Darren Tills and Anthony Taylor's, all these types of fights, KSI and Dylan Dennis, it seems to be a regular part of society in boxing now, and if it makes money, it makes sense. That's how I think people are looking at it. But remember what I said, there's going to be a lot of people that look dumb. Remember, content creators were saying PBC was broke. They ran out of money. They can't afford Tank to have a backdrop for the Lamar Roach fight when he did the press conference in DC. They said PBC has no money. If Jake Paul gets this Canelo fight, a fight he's called for, you can hate on it. It will sell. It is going to make a ton of money. Canelo is going to get paid. So you can say whatever you want. You can try to condemn it. You can try to hate. I really blame you as boxing fans. The people who try to steal and pirate all the fight. So now companies are looking at it like, yeah, how can we make money? Well, how can we make a commercial hit? So with you guys pirating fight and not supporting and then hating on fights when people lose and all that type of stuff. Yeah, now these networks, they're like, all right, bet. Now they're doing fights that some, diehard boxing fans might not like, but then they make so much money, you can't deny that. And that for that reason, you got to rock with it. So in the coming weeks, things are going to be shaken up and get very interesting. Per my sources and per the intel that I'm receiving, it's going to shake boxing up. You're going to have a contingent of fans that are angry, right? And you're going to have a lot of people who can't wait for the press conference. Some people are going to want to see Canelo, see if he can get a knockout. He hasn't really got that many knockouts since Caleb Plant, right? They're going to see if he can knock out this big Jake Paul who has a mouth. Jake Paul's been calling him out, yada, yada, yada. Or if you think it's somebody else and it's not Canelo versus Jake Paul, let me know that in the comment section as well. But your boy Ego, he gonna be here for a long time. Subscribe.